Welcome back to Breaking the Chains, Healing from Emotional and Physical Abuse. I am your host, Kelly. And if you would like to donate, the link is in the description. And if you would like to buy my merch, I have more merch too on my store. So I am going to list and show you all my merch if you would like to purchase it. I have notebooks, I have cups, I have hoodies. I have a drawstring backpacks. I have pillows. I have t-shirts. I have mugs. I have a tote bags. I have caps. And also I have water bottles. So if you would like to purchase my merch, you can go to my merch store, click in the link in the description. Also, if you would like to donate, you can click the link in the description. Again, I am your host, Kelly, and I will be discussing tonight two topics. The first topic is setting and sticking to boundaries with your physical abuser. The next topic in the same episode is restoring your self-esteem. So let's hop into it. So my first topic, setting and sticking to boundaries with your physical abuser. Setting physical boundaries with your abuser is described as your personal space, privacy, and basic needs. When a victim first begins to set boundaries with their physically abusive partner, it can be difficult. Therefore, your abuser will definitely try to manipulate their victim not to set boundaries with him or her, so the abuser can maintain the control over you by continuing to physically harm you. Once you state to your abuser that you will file a restraining order or a protective order because he or she is still physically hurting you. For legal reasons, I am not an attorney. A victim of domestic, sorry, I'm kind of off tonight. A victim of domestic violence needs to file a restraining order against his or her physically abusive partner when the abuse is happening or right after it happened. A victim can file a restraining order at your local justice center or local law enforcement office. A restraining order is issued by the civil court and demands the physical abuser in the order to avoid contacting their victim. And the abuser isn't allowed 500 feet distance-wise around their victim. The restraining order is to protect the victim of domestic violence and to protect his or her children in an abusive situation. The victim has to fill out the petition for the restraining order against their abuser and then file it with the court. The court will let the victim and their abuser know of the hearing date. When the victim attends court for the restraining order, no attorney is needed. However, if you already have an attorney for a divorce or custody matter, then your attorney can be with you at the hearing. As a victim of domestic violence, bring all of your pictures of abuse, text messages of threats, recordings of threats, hospital documents of abuse to the court hearing for the restraining order. After the judge signs off on the restraining order, then it is set into place. The great news about the restraining order is required by federal law to be honored and enforced in all states. Therefore, if you are a victim of domestic violence and the restraining order is signed off by the judge, if you move to another state, then your restraining order is active in the state that you move to immediately. and it's never canceled just because a victim has moved to another state. Also, a victim of physical abuse can file a order of protection at your local county court clerk's office. The victim must show the pictures of abuse, documents from hospitals, the threats by the abuser, and recordings, voicemails, or text messages. A order of protection, the physical abuser is not to hurt, threaten, or harass you or your children, directly or through someone else. Also, the order of protection demands the abuser to stay away from you, your family, your home, workplace, and children's daycare or school. And the abuser cannot carry a gun even with a license. In addition, the order will set terms and conditions for visitation with the children, order the physical abuser to attend anger management classes, drug tests, order the abuser to attend a substance abuse treatment program if they are addicted to any alcohol or drugs, and the abuser has an order that's called to get out of the home, which is also known as kick out order. The order of protection allows the victim's abuser, the order of protection allows the law enforcement to arrest the victim's abuser without a warrant. Please don't delay in filing an order of protection, also known as a protection order. Report it right after the incident happened with your physical abuser or right when it's happening. A protection order generally lasts for 2 years. If your abuser violates the protection order, he or she will be arrested and charged with a crime. If your abuser has multiple violations, it will result in felony charges. Now, let's talk about restoring your self-esteem. It's very common for the victim of domestic violence to blame themselves for the abuse. The reason that a victim of physical abuse blames themselves for the abuse is because the victim is told numerous times that it was his or her fault by their abuser. So victims of domestic violence must replace all those negative thoughts with very positive thoughts about themselves. Therefore, victims of physical abuse have to restore their self-esteem, for their abuser has caused them to have low self-esteem of themselves by abusing him or her physically. Number 1, you can make a list of all positive characteristics and achievements about yourself. Write down on sticky notes, notebook, or type up positive characteristics about yourself. Here are some examples. You could write, I am brave, beautiful, or handsome, smart, and loving. And you can say much more positive characteristics that you know that you have, and recite these positive characteristics about yourself daily or more than once a day. Also, list of all of your achievements, whether it's big or small. Some examples are, I packed up all my stuff and children's things, left my abuser, therefore I am very brave. Another example, I enrolled in college and I will have my degree in a few months. 2, change all of your negative beliefs and turn them into positive thoughts about the views that you endured. You are a victim of domestic violence and you didn't do anything to cause the abuse. The abuser is the only person to be blamed. You did your very best in a horrible situation. Here's 6 ways that the victims of physical abuse can restore their self esteem. Number 1, remind yourself that you decrease the ongoing conflict that your physical abusive partner created all the time, meaning that you did everything in your power to keep the conflict to a bare minimum. 2, put everything into your health. Focus on your self care, taking care of your physical and mental health. Take a day, go to a salon, go to a massage, exercise, eat healthy, spend a day with a friend, or go to the movies, or do meditation. Number 3, always speak your truth about your physical abuse, especially after you healed and you are ready to speak to other people about the domestic violence that happened by your abuser, then you can talk about it. After your healing process, the more that the victim talks about the abuse that happened with your abuser, it releases the pain and disappointment. 4, be consistent in your healing process. Continue to seek professional help if you need it, because it will take a long time to heal from all the domestic violence that you encountered. The more that you give yourself grace about not healing over one day or night makes a big difference. The healing process will take time, and please continue to heal with your counselor or therapist if you need someone to help you with it. 5, take full accountability for your life. Focus on becoming the best you can be for yourself and your kids. When you are still receiving threatening text messages from your physical abusive ex, don't feel the need to defend yourself to your ex abuser, for he or she is just wanting a reaction out of you to still have that control over your emotions. When you don't defend or degrade your ex abuser in the text messages, then you are proving to your abuser that he or she has lost all control over you and your emotions. You knew that your physical abusive partner will not stop hurting you, so you left with your child or children to have a safe environment for you all. 6, reconstruct your life. You are rebuilding your life. When you are a victim of domestic violence, then you lose the person that you really are. And when you leave your abuser, you find yourself again. You begin to feel happy that you escaped safely with your children or child. You can keep declaring the positive characteristics about yourself daily or more than once a day. I am so proud of you for leaving your physically abusive partner, and you are transforming you and your children's lives for a magnificent future. Also, I am so proud of you for creating a safe environment for you and your children. Pretty much setting boundaries and sticking to boundaries is the same, kind of different than the emotional abuse, because when your physical abusive partner, you have to file like a state of restraint, which I'm not legally. I'm just speaking legally. I'm not an attorney. However, from personal experience, you can file a restraining order. So that's so different from the emotional abuse. You can file the restraining order, and like you can go to your local law enforcement office and file it. Like I said, when you go to a hearing, you will not need an attorney for that unless you already have one because you're going through a divorce or custody issue. Then you can bring your attorney with you. However, attorney is not necessary for a hearing about your restraining order. So, and also, you need to bring all your evidence too with you to the hearing. All your evidence of your physical abuse, like hospital documents and pictures, the threatening text messages, threatening recordings or voicemails. You need to bring those to the hearing for your restraining order. And like I said, if you and if once your judge has signed off on the restraining order, if you decide to move to another state, your restraining order is still very active and it is not canceled just because you moved to another state. And also, I'll state this again, you can also file an order of protection at your local county court clerk's office. And once you fill that out too, once you have to show them your physical evidence of pictures of your abuse, your threatening recordings from your ex abuser, your threatening voicemails, text messages. You have to show that too. So, in the protected order of protection, is stating that the abuser is not to hurt, threaten, or harass you or your children directly, or they can even do it through someone else they know. Also, the order of protection demands your abuser, ex abuser, should stay away from you, your family, your home, your workplace, your children's daycare or school, and even your abuser, ex abuser, cannot even carry a gun, even with a license, after the protection order is into place. So, all of that I've already stated, and I hope that's helped you all. And, like I also said, to restoring your self esteem, um, it's good to write your positive characteristics on a notepad or on notebook or type them up. Like examples are, you could write, I'm brave, beautiful, handsome, smart, creative, talented, and you read them off daily or more than once a day to yourself, and it will help to um, diminish all your negative thoughts that you have in your head. So if you would like, you can donate and click the link in the description, or if you would like to buy my merch, you can go to the link in the description. I want to go over again my merchandise. I have notepads. I have glasses. I have hoodies. I have a drawstring backpacks. I have pillows. I have t-shirts. I have mugs. I have a tote bags. And I have caps. And I also have water bottles. So thank you all for your continued support of watching Breaking the Chains podcast. And I hope you all have, and If you have any questions, you can call in, and I'll be more than happy to answer any questions tonight. We'll just do this for a few minutes, leave the phone line open for a few minutes, and after that, we'll wrap up this podcast. Excuse me, I need to get a drink. I believe we have a question coming in. I really want to thank all of you all for continuing to support this podcast, because I have reached way over the amount of viewers than I thought I would. And I thank you all for your continued support. I really appreciate it. So I'm waiting on, I think I have a question coming in, so I'm waiting on the question. What if, the question sent in was, what if my boyfriend keeps hitting me if I can't clean the house right? Like, clean the house up to his expectations. Anyways, so here's the answer to that. Here's what you do. Like I said, if he keeps hitting you, you need to call 911 immediately. You need to file a restraining order or a order of protection, and also leave. And if you have a child or children with your boyfriend, take your child or children after, because he will be arrested for assault. So you need to take your child or children and leave immediately after he is taken down to your local jail. Is there any more questions? I believe I have one more coming in, another one. Let's see. Yeah, I have another question coming in. Okay, what if my boyfriend got me pregnant, hits me every time I say I don't want to unalive our child? I'm not going to use the other word, however you know what I'm talking about, because I don't want to get banned. Call 911 immediately, or your local law enforcement. I would say leave immediately also. If your boyfriend goes to work, leave immediately. Go to a safe place. Because, like, if you're pregnant, you also have another human being inside of you. So if your boyfriend's hitting you while you're pregnant, leave immediately. Call 911. File the restraining order or the order of protection to protect you and your unborn baby. And turn off your location on your device, so your boyfriend does not know where you are located. Let me see if there is another question coming in. Okay, I have another question. Thank you all for the questions tonight. What if my girlfriend tracks my phone, but I don't want her to? Okay, that goes back to boundaries. So you have to, apparently, your girlfriend doesn't trust you. Your girlfriend is like doing something your girlfriend shouldn't be doing. So, turn off your location, set your boundaries with your girlfriend, and say, look, I don't like you tracking my phone. I don't want you tracking my phone. I will tell you where I am at all, whenever you ask me. However, I will not let you track my phone and leave your location off on your device. Or you can just break up with your girlfriend if you're like tired of your girlfriend constantly tracking your phone. If you've already set boundaries and your girlfriend hasn't listened, you can break up with your girlfriend. And I also have another question coming in. Thank you all for the questions. What do I. That's not really an abusive situation. I need a like abusive situation. Can you please like is like the girlfriend like slapping you, throwing things at you? Can you please go into more detail of the if there's any abuse, or is she if there's no abuse, I'm not going to comment because my podcast, sorry, but my podcast is about abuse. It's not about any other thing but abuse, emotionally and physically. Like, is she attacking you mentally, your character, or is she being physically abusive with you? I cannot comment on these questions because there's no abuse involved. If there's abuse involved, then I could you please is is she mentally abusive? Is she threatening to cheat? If she's threatening to cheat and she's talking bad about you, then I will comment. Can you please just say yes, or she's being mentally abusive? Okay. So here is the whole question. I can comment on this because she's being mentally abusive. So his girlfriend is really mentally abusive, and she wants to spend $8,000 a month on her credit card, and he has told her no numerous of times, and she when he brings up the subject of her not wanting to spend the $8,000 a month on the credit card, she starts calling him uh, very awful, terrible names, and talking really bad about him. Uh, and then she even threatens him to cheat on him. I say the best thing to do is break up with her. I mean, seriously, because this is like this is a mental abuse what she is doing to you. If she's continued to threaten you and call you bad names. She's continued to threaten to cheat on you. If you do, like, if you keep talking about the $8,000 that you do not want her to spend on your credit card because you're paying the bill, and that's normal for you not want her to spend that much a month on a credit card. So I would just say break up with her, because if it's just a girlfriend, I mean, because apparently you set your boundaries and she's not listening to your boundaries, and she's very mentally abusive, and you do not need to stay in that mentally abusive relationship. And thank you so much for that question. Okay, I'm fixing to wrap up this. If there's no, it's not abusive. Oh, there's, there's not. It has to be abusive questions, like if you were in an abusive situation. If you're not in an abusive situation, I cannot comment on any questions that's not abusive. And I can't comment on explicit content. I will not comment on explicit content because some of these questions I'm getting is not, cannot be reported. It's very explicit. So I think I'm just going, I believe there's one more question coming in. If this question is not explicit, I will answer. But if it is, I will not. And hopefully we'll see in a few minutes. There's, okay. Okay. What if my boy, um, can you elaborate when your boyfriend gets angry? What does he do when he gets angry? Is he like mentally or physically abusive towards you when he gets angry like this? And then I can, when you elaborate on what kind of abuse it is, then ooh, this is, okay, this is a very good question. What if my boyfriend, every time that I want to do what's best for our kids, my boyfriend is calling me very bad names, like, I'm just gonna say B word because y'all get banned, like, and he is pushing me, and he's saying that he's saying that, just being very abusive, calling her very bad names is what I'm gonna say. And he says, I wish I never met you. I hate your family. And he continues to push her when she wants to do what's best for her kids. This is her boyfriend. So, first of all, you need to set your boundaries and tell him you're not going to tolerate this kind of behavior. So, have you been with your boyfriend for years or months? It has to be years because you said you had kids together. So, yes, years. She said years. So, since you've been with your boyfriend for years and he's doing this to you, have you sit and talking? He just started doing this abusive behavior recently, she stated. So, you need to set your boundaries with him. So, you will not allow him to push you, call you bad names when you're trying to do what's best for y'all's kids, first of all. And if he does not do that, then you can tell him that you will be filing a restraining order, because she goes on to say that he's punched her and he's threatened to kill her. So you can file a restraining order or an order of protection. And you can take y'all's kids and you can leave if he does not stop abusing you. Because it's only going to get worse if he's not. If you can talk to him though first and set your boundaries and possibly get into some kind of he gets some kind of counseling, if he can get into a counselor. And if he doesn't want to go to a counselor, then he's probably not going to change. But if you could get him in a counselor, or you both go to a counselor and talk about these issues. And also, like I said, probably the best thing to do is to sit down and talk with him first and set the boundaries and tell your boyfriend you're not going to allow him to push you, call you bad names, punch you, threaten to kill you, and tell him if he continues, you will take the kids and leave him. Plus, you will also file a restraining order or an order of protection. And thank you so much, because that was a great question. Because I kind of, I'm sorry you're going through it, all of this. It kind of focuses on all aspects of abuse, like the mental abuse. So you're experiencing mental abuse with your boyfriend. You're experiencing physical abuse. You're also, your kids are involved. So also you're trying to protect your kids. So thank you so much for that question, because it really, I mean, I'm sorry. So like I said, I'm so sorry you're going through it all, but it ties in with mental and physical abuse. And like I said, you need to sit down with your boyfriend and set the boundaries. And if he doesn't want to follow the boundaries, then you need to take y'all's kids and leave. And you need to file a restraining order or an order of protection. And you can do it because you are brave if he does not want to change his behavior. So, if that's all the questions for tonight, I want to thank you all for your continued support of the podcast. And um, the next podcast will should be coming in the next week or so. And I hope you all have a great Friday night.